Hi, today I want to share with you how I feel about the Nikon Z8, which I switched from Sony to Nikon just a couple of weeks ago. I've been using Sony for probably 7 to 10 years. Last one was a A7R4, mainly on all sorts of different things, portraits, landscape. I do photography job, and mostly for those jobs I use a Canon. Now, why I want to bring this up with Nikon Z8 is a new toy, new tool for me, and I actually have a couple of points I want to share, which are a bit different from what I've been watching YouTube for quite a while before I decided to get this camera. First thing, after everything else, after all of these on the list, the first most important thing I think is the speed. It's not the fast shooting 120 frames per second kind of thing. It's not about how many frames you shoot. It's about operations, about snappiness. It's not about how I press the buttons and the way the system responds. Is essentially, I guess, it's a much higher speed SoC. At that price point is, for me, compared with a A1, for example, it's just more cost effective. So it's like buying a new GPU for games, and you got an upgrade, but and you got all sorts of rendering, all sorts of benefits from a much higher CPU speed. So that's essentially how it is. But they, to be honest, they actually package this speed in a way that makes shooting, taking pictures, photography, makes it a bit, not only a bit, but much better than I've been using my Sony gears. I bet if I switch to an A1, probably I would have a better feeling also. To be honest, for a 5 years old machine, the A7 IV or even 5, it's still hardcore. It's like how much processing power, how much bus speed, all this technical thing is essentially a computer. So, for example, if you press the button, you got shutter button, you got a much snappier response. Now with a electronic shutter, is even more noticeable. Of course, when I use A7R4, I would use electronic shutter also occasionally, and yeah, there is certain speed, but then you still see that little delay after every shot, and that doesn't happen here. So this makes shooting a bit happier, friendlier, and you feel like you want to press the button. The second thing on my list is the upgrade to modern technologies. I do have an IT background, so this thing has the modern USB 3. I don't know what gen is it. At least I would feel like I could plug a USB 3 cable and get quite speedy transfer of files. I could use the Safe Express reader on my Safe Express card, and I do use a 2230 kind of adapter, so it's essentially an NVMe, and I have no questions about that, reading all these files, big files or what. So it's a lot speedier, and all this modern connection with the USB 3 to direct to my PC and download these things are to me a much friendly operation. So like in the workflow, you take the shots outside, you come back, you download the photos. All these are upgraded. Just feel like my job are much easier with this new gear. The other thing, of course, is the Save Express, which I showed. I really liked the fact that I could use NVMe SSD on it. I'm used to having NVMe on my computer stuff and other gears, and even though it's I think it's 2.0 CF Express, which is like a Gen 3 PCIe, and I probably wouldn't be able to make use of those PCIe Gen 4 4-lane stuff, 5,000 megabyte per second, so it's like 5 gigabyte per second, that's of speed, but it's still okay for a camera, from a camera's point of view. So these are cool. Then point number 3 is about Snap Bridge. It's fine. Other vendors also have these things, but so far I use Snap Bridge, I use AutoLink. So when I think it used Bluetooth to link up with my camera on a nearby scan, so when I start shooting, I bring up Snap Bridge on my mobile, and I think I have to enable Bluetooth here, and then it would automatically, like every shot that I take, it would gradually in the background transfer those files automatically to my mobile. I pick the 2 megabyte option, so it's like a thumbnail that I could track on my phone, even though it's not real time, but still I could track that my shots are like what, and if I need to go back and take another shot, it's really good for straight snaps and that sort of thing. For studio work, I might need to use tethering. Even that one I haven't tried yet, but I bet it's like the Sony times when I use a cable. But I'm looking forward to see if I could do a wireless way to do it without a cable. That would help a lot. And when I do foot shots, I could actually take a look at it from my Android on top of the screen. So that's something I actually like a lot. The other thing about this is FTP. It actually has SFTP. So that's a surprise to me. And the workflow is like the RAWs that I took in the daytime, and I get back home, I would start the SFTP in the background. So it would sit there, and even though you turn off, I think for the Bluetooth, even though you turn off the machine, it will still work. For SFTP, you have to keep it on, and it will transfer to my NS, and while I'm having dinner or watching TV, so that's a good workflow thing. You see what I mean? It's multitasking. It doesn't have to. I don't have to. I even could shoot while I do SFTP and at the background, and it would auto link, and as a test it. So one other project I'm thinking of is to have a little portable NAS out there that I bring it in the field, and I could keep shooting, and it keep the FTP to my portable NAS in the field. So I got backup in a sense. So this is one good thing. And then point number 4 is that display. I've been using Sony. Sony is good because it's a smaller machine, it's a lighter machine. So and that brings down the screen is a bit smaller, obviously. So there are trade-offs. Now this one is heavier, but it got a much bigger screen. So for me, it helps me to use the screen. I actually use the screen much more than it was in the Sony time. So this big screen is a good thing. Now that goes back goes to point number 5 is the touch. Sony Touch, I use it a lot also for focusing and things like those. I'm not sure in the Sony time I could focus. I'm not sure you could do when you press, you could do shutter also. I never did that on Sony, so that was not my habit. But on Nikon, because when the machine ships to me, I didn't even read manual. I just go ahead and play around with it, and it automatically goes to the AF and shoot mode. That when I touch, it would do the shutter thing and AF. So it's even better than some of my Android phone, because in Android you could press the screen on focusing, but you still need to press the shutter button. I think some other phones, some other camera app might have different arrangement, but it has never been in my workflow. Now with that, it enlightened me that I could use those things. I could actually do more hip shots and take the shot from the screen. It's not big deal from a technical perspective, but it just changed my way of shooting. I still use my EVF when I need to, but I now have a different kind of way to handle these shots. So it's snappy and it's good for me. So I feel something different when I use the camera like that. And then goes to buttons. It's phone number 6. Look at all these buttons. I started with Canon AE1 when I was young, film time. So all in a while, when my career was with Canon, and the last Canon machine was 5D2, I don't remember Canon has that many buttons, and I've never been a Nikon person. So then I switched to Sony. Sony is a minimalistic kind of design, so there's less button, and most of them use manual. That I'm fine also. But now with this thing, you see it has huge amount of buttons. Now the thing is, buttons are there, but are not necessarily good. But I have to say the Nikon way of doing these buttons are very intuitive. Once I got the feeling of it, I know why they place buttons here and there, and then my muscle memory would be able to handle it without looking at instructions or manual, obviously. So these buttons play an important role when you go out and shoot and do your job, and that sometimes makes me feel that why Nikon people are so used to these buttons when they when in the past they need to switch to Sony, they complain a lot. So now I got a better understanding. I'm not sure other Nikon machines are similarly with similar button layout. I guess they are similar, not necessarily exactly the same, but the philosophy and the way that is arranged is perhaps similar. So the Nikonian are so used to this, so they feel like home when they progress through Nikon gear. So that's a good thing. And the next one is weather. Now I didn't want to. For me, I'm not like those paid with big money that these gears are like trash and they could always, switch to another new set. So when I use all my gears in the past, now I would handle it with care. And I remember there were times in the Canon times, the 5D and all these machines, I actually use them in the rain with the Canon lens, and they are perfectly fine. I even drop them and they are like tank. And then when I switch to Sony, when I look at the body and I read the spec, I really worry about if I should do that. So I try to be very careful and cover it up wherever. So the Sony gears give me a feeling over the years that it's not very weather resistant. So that affect my shooting arrangement a bit. So sometimes I still use old Canon machines for tough environment. Now the Nikon thing, I did try. Well, it's a brand new machine, but I did already shoot it in the rain. Not heavy rain, but still a bit wet. But somehow I feel it's all right. I mean, obviously it's still all right, but I feel this build is good for weather. You look at it and you could feel it. It seems to me, engineering speaking, is meant for weather, for rain, for tough environment. So these things are restoring my confidence in shooting in different environment. That's one thing. So finally, when I look at it from a systems perspective, like a system engineering perspective, it's more like a transformer machine. It's like a machine that you could fit different things in it. You could do all sorts of different photography, from static, from studio, from wildlife, from outdoor. So that for me, I'm not I'm only a professional on foot, but that might help me to go into other areas of interest, which I thought in the past that I have to invest in different gears to do it. This thing give me a feeling that has the potential to transform. Of course, you have to add gears in it into different shooting environment and excel. All because it has a very speedy core. It has good RAM, CPU, memory, modern bus storage, everything, and these things enable it to be able to be used in different environment with different plugins and PD power and even though the battery is tiny, but once you plug PD in, you forget about battery. So all these things make it very versatile. So in short, in all, I think this is a transformer type machine that I would keep for quite a while. And obviously, I would do expect the next one coming in because of competition. It would be Z8 II or Z9 II with a bit higher spec here and there. Might need to trade in for the higher spec, but we don't know. I mean, until until that comes in and if that adds a value. So this thing, unlike what I learned in the advertising about the frame per second, 120 frames per second, and all these things, to be honest, actually it turns out to be a lot about those things. If I like it, it's about all those points that I mentioned. It's just for me. Of course, it suits different people, but this thing actually is a great upgrade to what I've been using. All right, just want to share. Thanks for listening. Bye.